What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to pose a question, man, to everybody who comes to this channel and they check out the content. And my question is, if in an unscripted era, who do you think would be the GOAT of today's era, right? And it's between uh LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. Like, which one of these guys do you think would be the GOAT if things was able to play out in the NBA without NBA interference or without the NBA being scripted, right? And I definitely, if you don't think that the NBA is scripted, then and you think that like what has gone on in the NBA was not was not scripted, then maybe this conversation not for you, right? Because looking back at like how this era started, like when you had Kevin Durant first came in the league, and he was going up against LeBron James. LeBron was in Cleveland, and OKC versus Cleveland, like in the playoffs. OKC and Kevin Durant in those early years, Kevin Durant was killing LeBron James in those playoffs, right? And really throughout every time Kevin Durant saw LeBron James, he just would kill, right? And I think that because the league had anointed LeBron James like the face of the league, and the they crowned him the king. I think that kind of discouraged Kevin Durant, because that series that OKC was playing against Cleveland, like Kevin Durant was dominating. And if you go back and you watch that OKC Cleveland series, I forgot what year it was. I forgot what year it was. But anyway, when both of those teams they played each other in the playoffs, and Kevin Durant was killing. LeBron James couldn't do anything with him. And what happened was like they got Kevin Durant in foul trouble. LeBron James was allowed to just hack Kevin Durant up, and so OKC wound up losing that series. And I think that right then and there, that's what changed Kevin Durant's perception and his approach to the NBA. He realized then that the NBA was not going to allow him to succeed. So that's right after that, that's when he took the stance of, hey, I'm just here to hoop. I'm gonna just play basketball and hoop, right? He understood that LeBron James was going to be the face of the league, and the league was going to do everything in its power to allow, or to facilitate LeBron James being the face of the league, right? So now, with that being said, I just think that that Kevin Durant, just his talent, I think Kevin Durant, in my opinion, would have been the face of the league. Even when Kevin Durant, he lost to Golden State. And then, I don't know if he thought that the league was rigged then, and that's maybe have been part of the reason why he wanted to go to go to Golden State and play with Steph so he can get a ring. Because he probably felt like the league was not going to allow him to get a ring in OKC. He may have felt like that because what he was doing in OKC, man, he just was dominant. At one point in time, Kevin Durant, people was talking about Kevin Durant, putting him in the conversation of being one of the best players in the NBA. People was also saying that Kevin Durant was better than LeBron James, right? Which I agreed with. At the time, I just thought Kevin Durant was a better ball player, offensively and defensively than LeBron James. I thought that Kevin Durant was a better basketball player than Steph Curry, right? But Kevin Durant, he didn't, his situation, he didn't have the team around him that Steph Curry had. Number one. Then number two, he didn't he wasn't made the face of the league like LeBron James was. So I think that is probably what made Kevin Durant want to, move from team to team in order to be able to win championships. So he found an alternative way to win championships. Although I think that had Kevin Durant would stayed in OKC with what's the other guy, James Harden and Russell Wilson. I'm sorry, Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook, had all three of those guys been able to stay together in OKC, I think, they eventually would have won a championship. And I think that when I just think that he kind of got discouraged. I think he should have just continued to play basketball, and I think the fans would have had appreciated that. Just like what Steph Curry did in Golden State, right? Steph Curry just did his thing. He took advantage of what was presented to him, what was given to him in Golden State, and he stayed there. I think Kevin Durant would have made out better. His legacy, I think, would look a lot better had he stayed in OKC the whole time. Even if he had only won one championship in OKC, I think that would have been better for his legacy than to go to Golden State and win two, But of the three basketball players, who do I think is like the best basketball player? I think it's Kevin Durant. I think Kevin is better than Steph, and I think he's better than LeBron. And like I said, I think that had Kevin Durant stayed in OKC for his entire career, they would have put players around him. Even if I think him and Russ probably eventually would have been able to to work that out. Russ is a hard basketball player. I think that they would have put people around him that would have helped him win at least one championship, one or two championships over there in OKC. And one championship for him in OKC is better than two, I think, in Golden State. Because those championships, people are always going to say, well, those championships belong to Steph. They belong to Steph Curry more so than they do Kevin Durant. Because you had to go to his team to get those championships. Whereas though if he'd have had his own, it just would have looked better for his legacy. But yeah, I'm interested on y'all take though. Who y'all think would have been the GOAT? Do you think Steph Curry would have been the GOAT, of this era without interference from the league? Do you think Kevin Durant would have been the GOAT of this era without interference in the league? Or do you still think it was LeBron James? And I'm not a LeBron James hater. I just think that like the level of work that these other two guys put into the game, I just think like they just way above the level of work what LeBron James put into the game. Like their game, like they just look like professional basketball players as far as like, like somebody who has mastered their craft. Like you can't look at Steph Curry game as a three-point shooter, the way he move around the court. Like Steph Curry, the way he handled the ball, he just looked like somebody who has mastered his craft. He looks like somebody who has been doing what he do on a nightly basis. He looked like he's been doing that all his life. And that's why, fans appreciate Steph Curry and fans love Steph Curry because he just looked like somebody who has mastered his craft. Same thing with Kevin Durant, right? You watch Kevin Durant play, like he just looked like somebody who has mastered his craft. Like he's an artist, somebody who is very proficient and excellent at what what it is that he do. And, and so that I think that, you got to appreciate both of those guys. Now, LeBron James, on the other hand, like what is he great at? He's only great because like in title, like people just say, oh, he's a great basketball player. But like, what is his game? Like, is he a great passer? Is he a great shooter? Is he a great leader? Like, what does he do? Steph Curry is a shooter. That's his identity. He's a shooter. Kevin Durant is a scorer, right? Like he's an excellent scorer. Kevin Durant's. I don't think nobody in the league was a better scorer than Kevin Durant. But what is LeBron James like? What is he excellent at? Is he an excellent passer? Is he an excellent shooter? Is he excellent at playing with his back to the basket? Like those other two guys, like they're basically unstoppable at what they do. Whereas though LeBron James is not that, he don't bring that to the table. So yeah, I definitely think that if this was an unscripted, like if professional basketball was unscripted, I think Kevin Durant would have just stood out and just would have dominated the league. And so that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.